That was District 281's all-district choir. Thank you, kids, so much. They're going to be singing a little bit later for us, too.
Right, face. Prepare to post the colors. Post colors. Recover. Adjust. Present hearts. Order, arms. Left, face. Forward, march.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Beside me is Dr. Carlton Jenkins, Superintendent. Oh, you can sit down. You've got cinnamon rolls to finish. I'm checking everybody's plates, by the way. Beside me is Dr. Carlton Jenkins, Superintendent of Robbinsdale Area Schools. I'm proud that he is here with us this morning. He is here to welcome us to this great facility and introduce the members of his school district. Carlton?
Okay, good morning, everyone. I tell you, don't you just love the energy of this place this morning? Yeah, it's awesome. Give yourselves a big hand for showing up early. It's truly amazing being here for the 27th annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. I'd like to thank all of the organizers for inviting us here this morning for this particular event. And I also would just like to give big thanks and kudos to our children who performed this morning. Let's give them another big hand. We're so proud to have everyone here in our community attend this particular event. But I would like to tell you, the leadership of our school board, and school board members, could you please stand at this time? I would like to recognize them as well. The partnership that we have between our school board and our community is just awesome. And I tell you, it's really inspiring, not only for myself, but for our staff and for our children as well. I tell you, here at Cooper High School, we cannot be any prouder of Papa Hawk, and affectionately known here as our principal, Dr. Herman. Could you please stand? We'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of our student volunteers. Haven't they been wonderful as you walked in this morning? I would be remiss if I did not say thank you. Thank you to our wonderful staff for all that they do every day for our children in our community. Thank you to the staff. Our work in Robbinsdale Area School is truly to make sure that we implement our unified district vision, ensuring that our children have high intellectual performances, and we're doing what we do here through the lens of equity. Events like this, we have time to reflect on what's not only going on locally, what's going on throughout our state, nationally, and internationally. It's moments like this today, we really need them. Looking from last year to this year, there are a number of things going on. When we come here, it's a safe space for everyone. So, having said that, I want to encourage our community to continue to just engage. Make your voices known. Everyone, take this opportunity to get out and make sure you just vote. Everyone's voices need to be heard. Thank you again for being here this morning.
Well, welcome to the 27th Annual Mayor's Per Community Breakfast. The theme this year is New Hope, There's No Place Like Home. We hold this annual event to promote the sense of community in New Hope and in our school district, to encourage prayers and support for our elected officials, city and school staff, our police and fire personnel, and the residents of New Hope. Dr. Jenkins already thanked most of the folks on my list, so we won't go through that again, but unless you want me to, thank you. I'd like to recognize my city council members, though, Andy Hoff, John Elder, Jonathan London, and Cedric Frazier. Also joining us is the mayor of Golden Valley, Shep Harris. And the mayor of Crystal, Jim Adams. Just a little note about Jim Adams in the back of the room. Isn't that I don't love him just as much, but he got his money in late. Also like to recognize Mike Freiberg and Lyndon Carlson, our state representatives, and our ever-loved Ann Rest, our state senator. My city council, or my city manager, Kirk McDonald, Chief Fournier, the police chief, and the West Metro Fire and Rescue Chief, Sarah Larson, thank you very much. A special thanks to our singers. You guys are fabulous, thank you. The Cooper Chamber Strings played for us. We're going to have Richard Marshall on the viola and Tai Chi Chen on the violin and Donna Pillipau. I missed that, didn't I? I was close, though. We thank you for your prayers, your kindness, and your support. Our police and fire teachers are here to protect and instruct. Our city staff and elected officials and public works are here to serve. You're important to the future of our city and our schools. We depend on you. Your continued support is greatly appreciated by all of us. Now let's get started with the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Deborah Rappaport. I am a rabbi at Shir Tikva congregation in South Minneapolis, and I am incredibly honored to be here and deeply moved by the community that's gathered here. By way of opening blessing, I share with you 3 brief images of the interweaving of home and blessing. 1, in Exodus, God says to Moses, Va'asuli mikdash v'shachanti betocham. Have the people make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. God isn't saying that God will dwell in the sanctuary, but rather that the sanctuary is a place where people will gather. Among the people gathered in the community, that is where God's presence will dwell. I think that's what's going on in New Hope. You have built a sanctuary in this community where people may come together and feel at home. Second image. Our ancestor Abraham is sitting in the opening of his tent, his home, in the heat of the day. The day is really, really hot in the middle of the desert when three mysterious strangers approach. The way Abraham responds has been a model for the great virtue of hospitality. The Hebrew Bible make a place for the vulnerable of society, the stranger, the orphan, the widow, more times than any other commandment. What can we learn from Abraham's hospitality? Sitting in the opening of the tent, Abraham is ready to receive who or what is coming. He lifts up his eyes, is willing to see what he might otherwise not have noticed at all. He does not avert his eyes or look away because what the truth he sees is demanding of his time and attention, unpleasant or overwhelming. Abraham jumps up. He rushes out to greet the strangers. He actively welcomes them, not waiting for them to beg for a place in the shade. He enlists his household to make a meal and invites the guests to rest in the shade of the tree. Healer and author Rachel Naomi Remen offers a contemporary take on both hospitality and blessing. She says, a blessing is not something that one person gives another. A blessing is a moment of meeting, a certain kind of relationship where both people involved remember and acknowledge their true nature and worth, strengthen what is whole in one another. By making a place for wholeness within our relationships, we offer others the opportunity to be whole without shame and become a place of refuge from everything in and around them that is not genuine. We enable people to remember who they are. Those who bless and serve life find a place of belonging and strength, a refuge from living in ways that are meaningless and empty and lonely. Blessing life moves us closer to each other and closer to our authentic selves. Dear God, holy oneness that is behind all the diversity of creation, thank you for this opportunity to come together here in New Hope in solidarity in our diversity. May we build New Hope as a sanctuary and our country as a sanctuary so that your presence may dwell among us. May we be willing and open to see those in need. May we be quick to offer hospitality to the strangers. And may we bring ever deeper authenticity and kindness to one another, thereby blessing our home and our community. I invite you to join me in saying Amen.
Well, our theme today, Home is a Gift, and the theme of our morning, There's No Place Like Home, brings to mind, of course, the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy, who's longing to return home, just takes over her whole life. Well, there isn't a better feeling than the feeling of being home, of being at home. It's a place where we find comfort, we find acceptance, a place where we are appreciated and loved. We can be grateful, of course, that we have such a place. And yet we are also very much aware that there are many people who don't have a home, who are homeless. The homeless camp on Franklin and Hiawatha in Minneapolis is a very stark reminder that home is a dream for many. We are aware, too, of course, of men and women returning from combat overseas. Many find when they return that the home that they left is not the same. There are many psychological issues facing them, as well, of course, as the familiarity. Things have changed since they have been away. I call to mind my own brother Dan when he returned home from the Vietnam War back in 1968. Our family had moved to a different city. So when he came back, the home that he was used to, that he grew up in, was no longer home. And he said he felt sort of robbed of that experience of not being able to say goodbye, so to speak, to our previous home. But the one thing that he did find that was so helpful was that his friends were there, his family was there to support him. Thanksgiving, with Christmas and other holiday celebrations coming up, of course, we naturally think about times to get together, how important it is for families to gather and to celebrate. So home is certainly a place where our big celebrations happen. Well, over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go, from that song reminds us that grandmother's house, the important thing is longing to be together is still there. So home has an impact on our lives. It too, city of New Hope, or whatever cities that we live in. Here's where we raise our families, where we find security, places where we are nourished both physically and spiritually. It is the place where we have many opportunities to extend hospitality and to discover our strengths and our possibilities. Our hope, our politics, and our sense of belonging. Yes, home is truly a gift.
Namaste. I connect with you, my divine, connect with the divine in you. Namaste to all of you. For home, for the family, we have one word, Vasudeva Kudumpakam. What that means is the whole world, no, the whole universe is my family. But it does not happen just because I say that. So we have to work together. So here's a little prayer from Vedas. I'll first read it in English, in Sanskrit, and translate it. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Ma Vidvishavahai. What that means is, may all of us be protected. May all of us be nourished, both physically in terms of food and mentally in terms of knowledge. May we work together with great energy. Let there be no animosity between us. With all that, we can make the world and the city we are in, New Hope, our home. Now I'll read from this. I'm not sure, does everybody want to read along with it? Yes. After I read or together? Okay, let's read. Source of life, you have offered us a place in a community, and we thank you. Community is a gift, and it's not always wrapped in as we expect. Thank you that this community is full of surprises and full of delights. Each day provides us new beginnings, and each day makes the gift extremely worth unwrapping. Holy One, the community is your gift to us. What we make of it is our thanks and commitment to making this not only a place for us, but home for all. Thank you for the gift we call New Hope. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Mark Minji. I serve House of Hope Lutheran just around the corner, along with Pastor Gretchen right behind me. It's good to be together. From the very beginning, God's blessing has been double-sided. You are blessed, yes? This is God's first move. But that blessing cannot be separated from the very next move. You are blessed to be a blessing to others, to the world, and so it is with your home. Home is the original blessing. It's where life begins. Yet that blessing has a purpose: to hold you and nurture you, and then also to prepare you for all the possibilities that lay before you. Home, then, is more than a safety zone. It is also a launch pad to send you out into the universe to share your gifts, your skills, your knowledge, your experience. This building right here is part of that home. Cooper High School, like all our schools, not only prepares you for the future, but it opens your eyes and your minds to the myriad opportunities that lay before you all. A home, by definition, binds us to a location, a neighborhood, and it is with our neighbors we find our first opportunities to share our blessings. That is part of God's grand design. God creates you, blesses you so that you can be blessing to others, and so your home is where you first become a blessing, by being in community with your family and your neighbors, who are perhaps your dearest friends. It is such a great place to start, to learn to be a blessing to people you know and love. But that's only the beginning, because God created you to be a blessing to neighbors far and wide, to people you may not yet know, and to people who perhaps have no place to call home. If you know the blessing of home, you all have people have the capacity to bless those who have lost theirs and had to leave theirs behind. We thank God for our homes, and we pray that God continues to bless our homes so that they and we are also blessing to others.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Hamdi Al-Sawaf, President of the Board of Islamic Community Center of Minnesota and the Imam of Masjid al-Iman, the Mosque of Faith in Northeast Minneapolis. In the name of God, most gracious and most merciful, the cherisher and the sustainer of the whole universe, I would love to greet all of you with the greeting of Islam in Arabic. Assalamu alaikum. Peace, mercy, and the blessings of God with all of you. It's really an honor to be with all of you today to celebrate with all of you the 27th New Hope Community breakfast. No doubt this country is the country of opportunity. 38 years ago, when I decided to leave my hometown in Egypt to have my opportunity for education here in Minnesota at the University of Minnesota, was one of the greatest opportunity I have ever had, and since decided to stay. But the best opportunity for me, just to celebrate with you today, the 27th anniversary of that mayor breakfast with the New Hope. You may ask, with that wonderful opportunity, what can I do? How can I help? What gift I can offer? We have that teaching in Islam, in Quran, in the revelation of the Prophet, for the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him, peace be upon all the prophets and messengers before him. Whoever is giving a gift in order to enhance that opportunity for everyone around, there is a great reward for him or her. How we learn that in Quran, where it says, من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعف له وله أجر كريم. Who is he that will give God a beautiful loan? Then God will increase it many folds to his credit, and he will have a good reward for him or her. Let's take that opportunity to increase the opportunity in our city. You may be wondering, who would be giving and to whom? And again, Quran is teaching us that, answering that question. يسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل ما أنفقتم من خير فللوالدين والأقربين واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل وما تفعلوا من خير فإن الله به عليم. They may ask you what they should spend. Say, whatever you spend of good is to be for parents and relatives and orphans and the needy and the travelers. And whatever you do of good, indeed, God is knowing of it. We'll never have a great opportunity in what we're doing unless and until we do it generously as much as we can. لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. Never will you attain the good reward until you spend in the way of God from that which you love, and whatever you spend, indeed, God is knowing of it. Let's take the opportunity in our wonderful town, New Hope, to give more gifts as much as we can, and we'll be rewarded definitely, tremendously by Him, God Almighty. Peace with all of you.
Good morning. My name is Gretchen Rohde, and as Mark said, I serve as pastor at House of Hope Lutheran Church, which is just across the field over here. It's a joy to be with you this morning. Each year I look forward to this event, this time to come together and honor our faith and celebrate this community of New Hope. It is a joy of mine to serve a congregation where so many of our people call New Hope home. An affirmation. Giver of gifts, you open to us a sea of possibilities for our growth, our enjoyment, and our life enhancement. Then you plant us in this place to grow, this place that gives us new hope every day. Be our strength and presence as we commit ourselves to embracing what is right before us here in our home community. We live in neighborhoods, apartments, condominiums with other people. May our openness to those near us bring a mutual responsiveness to the shared opportunities before us. May our togetherness be the affirmation that pleases you as we live in harmony here in New Hope. So be it.
Good morning. I'm Richard Buller. I'm one of the pastors at Valley Community Presbyterian Church in Golden Valley, but my home for 20 years has been in this city called New Hope.
It was 13 years ago that our little meadow lake, which touches the New Hope Golf Course on Bass Lake Road, it was 13 years ago when our little meadow lake made the front page of the Sun Post newspaper. And you might think that it might have been an article designed to capture just the beauty of that little lake set out there in the northern part of New Hope. It may have captured one of those water birds that we have come landing down into a quiet lake. It may have been the eagle on top of the tree looking for its next piece of meat. But it wasn't. It turned out it was a photo on there on the front page of the Sun Post News. The famous algae bloom. The one that was so famous that there were ducks walking across our lake without sinking. It was thick. It was strong. It was ugly. And I'm going to tell you that at that moment, our neighborhood knew that we needed to step up and to show up and to take responsibility for taking care of this beautiful natural resource right here in our backyard. For my personal journey, I have participated in Earth Day celebrations. I have preached great sermons on taking care of God's environment, protecting and being good stewards of nature around us, and it ended up that I needed to listen to my own sermon. I needed to listen to my own words. And the result for me meant meeting neighbors in a whole new way. We learned about what a watershed is. We learned how to organize an association. We learned how to recruit support. And one of the highlights that came out of this was partnering with our local elementary school, Meadow Lake Elementary School. We did some storm drain stenciling projects together. Meadow Lake built this brand new parking lot that ran right into our lake. We, with the kids, built a rain garden. Those kids finally learned that there really is a Meadow Lake, that their school's named after. We partnered with them in wonderful, wonderful ways. And another thing that all of us in the Meadow Lake Watershed Association learned is that once you've stepped up, you can hardly step down as the same person. Once you've stepped up, you are changed. And even those who have rotated off the board, they continue to help us with the lakeshore projects over at Meadow Lake Park. They've continued to look at their lawns in new ways and treating their lawns well. They're excited about our educational signs that we have out on the lawns. In a few days, my friends, you'll be stepping into the polling place. And we're going to be meeting neighbors who are volunteering in our election. This civic engagement reminds us that we all take responsibility as we live and work side by side with one another. New Hope is our home. And our neighbors are our brothers and sisters who are there with us all the time. And for that, for all of that, we can be grateful. Amen.
That's my kid. There are different postures that we have when we pray. Doesn't matter. It's the purpose that counts. Somewhere over a rainbow, someone waits to give us power to live. However you do it, let's pray. Thank you, source of life and author of love. Thank you for the knowledge that we don't choose to be one people, because that's the way we were created. One people. Our choice of whether we will live as people who know we are one, that is our challenge. That is our opportunity. That is our gift. With your Spirit, may we be bold and courageous enough to reject tribalism, to reject red or blue, to reject them or us. Give us the strength to thrive in a place where unity is the goal. We are grateful for the life that has placed us in an environment where all of us may live with hope, with new hope, in both our spirit and our city, with life and love. There is no place like home. And all the people said,
This year, we're giving a grant to Home Free. This social service agency, receiving the first annual Mayor's Prayer Award, is an agency that's making change possible by understanding that domestic violence is not a private matter. Its Domestic Assault Interventions Program provides a community-wide response to domestic violence through coordination of law enforcement, criminal justice, and social service systems. It's my privilege to award this grant to Home Free, an agency striving to assure that that there is no place like home.
Thank you so much. We are so honored at Home Free to be here this morning and receive this grant. It is things like this in the community that help us do the work that we do, and the support really makes a difference in the lives of all the women and children that we're serving in the Northwest Hennepin area. So thank you again. We really appreciate it.
I can put on my red shoes, close my eyes, click my heels, and say there's no place like home. When I open them, there is no doubt that I am home. I'm in New Hope. This has been my home for 42 years, and I've always loved it. Since becoming your mayor in 2009, the reality of home has expanded its meaning. I'm delighted to live here, humbled to serve, and absolutely proud of the community we are becoming. I'm truly humbled by the willingness of our citizens to accept the responsibility included when one says, New Hope is my hometown. It is you, my good citizens and friends, that make this remarkable place that we can live, learn, work, shop, worship, and socialize. Your openness and responsiveness to others demonstrates your commitment to kindness. As always, leaving you with the words of my best friend. If you have the choice of being right or being kind, please choose kind. There's no place like home. There's no place like New Hope. Please now go out and make a difference. Make today count. Thank you.